There's never been a better time to have SIRIUS XM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SIRIUS XM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Now, everybody knows Sirius XM continues to be the leader in content providing for, listeners everywhere. You can listen on every single platform. But on today's Connected, we're going to go deeper and find out not only the why, but also the how when it comes to the success of Sirius XM for you and your shop. This is CMA Connected presented by Sirius XM, and it's all about Sirius XM, and it starts right now. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this CMA Connected, all about Sirius XM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and yes, that's a whole lot of Sirius XM words in a very short amount of time, but what can I say? It's an important topic. It's an important product and service for the entire industry. We have spent the time teaching, talking about with Ricky, Lima, how to best optimize and leverage SIRIUS XM in your shop when it comes to the point of sale when upgrading that customer to that source unit. But today we're going to go even deeper and really find out what makes Sirius XM tick, not only from the tools that they provide, but also the incredible content. And in fact, we're going to have the man who's responsible for all this crazy content that Sirius XM has to provide on the studio with us today. So without further ado, let's go to Toronto, Sirius XM headquarters, where our favorite person in the industry, yes, favorite person, his name is Ricky Lima, is standing by. I should say his formal title. He is the Senior Manager of Retail and Special Markets. We call him Ricky. What's going on, Ricky?
Thanks for the intro.
Oh, buddy.
Like the cup? Don't worry, yours is in the mail.
I hope so, because I'm rocking super mom right now. I don't know. Right?
Flip it around. Flip it around. Hey, here you go.
All right.
I'll use the other hand.
There you go. Awesome,
there
buddy.
We go. Yeah.
Let's keep it locked. So yeah, that was weird. There was a lot of Sirius XM in my intro there, but it is what it is.
I was trying to count down all the different times you said Sirius XM.
Let's count how many logos are on the screen right now, right? Anyways, okay. So what I'm trying to tell the dealers are tuning in, Sirius XM. Look, everybody knows what Sirius XM is, right? It's a premium content provider. It has expanded so many different times now, from not just music, but the music genres, and now we've got the video stuff, and now you've added Pandora, and then you have there's just so many levels to it, and it's grown. I remember when podcasts and all these great things, right? And I love Kevin Hart. You can listen to it on wherever you want, whenever you want. That's the whole thing. So when you talk to me, Ricky, about let's do a show and let's get Jeff Leake in and talk about content, it's like, oh, you know what? That's something we haven't really touched on in a while. It's been a minute since we've had Jeff on the show, so I'm happy that we're doing that today.
It certainly has been a minute, and always appreciative of Jeff carving out time in his busy schedule to join us, because at the end of the day, it's all about the content. Content is king, and as important as it is to equip the dealers with the right POS and the training to get those SXV300s added to those Sirius XM Ready Head units, it's all about the content, understanding the why, understanding why somebody would subscribe to Sirius XM, and everything that is included in a subscription for that customer. And it's very, very important, above all things that we provide training on. Understanding the why, understanding the content really helps you make the how that much easier.
Oh, 100%. And what a powerful, call it tool chest of whys that SiriusXM has. Um, why is now though? Right now, things have changed, things have evolved. Why is right now such a great time for? Let's talk about the end user to become a SiriusXM listener.
That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much content. We've talked about this in the past, and it's all about evolution. And it's not like SiriusXM has a standard package of channels that we just play, and that's it, and create some type of algorithm, and you just spit out music. There's more to it. There's people that are dedicated behind the scenes to make the magic happen. Deliver such great programming, but it's always everything that we're adding. And again, it's not just music. We're sports, we're talk, we're entertainment. Kevin Hart, Howard Stern. The ways to listen in your vehicle, outside of the vehicle, using streaming, using connected devices and smart devices like Google and Alexa, and be able to listen to podcasts and be able to watch videos on your smart TV or on your phone. There's so much content and so many different ways to consume it that now is the best time to give that entertainment experience to your customer and really understand the ins and outs of what SiriusXM has to offer. It's not just going back 16 years and you get in a vehicle and you press a button and you just get to listen to what the DJ is playing for you, and that's it. We have evolved tremendously since the launch of our service in the US and in Canada, and it's just exciting. And for me, the Pandora Stations, I mean, being able to create somewhere in the neighborhood of like over 150 of these, creating that Pandora engine that's now built into the app. I just use it constantly to create amazing playlists that I absolutely love. It probably takes up 75-80% of my consumption. The rest of it is in vehicle.
It's funny. I've actually recently, and this we want to get Jeff on for sure, but I want to add to this a comment. I've recently started doing something that I haven't done before, and now every time I get in my car, I purposely choose a station I haven't listened to yet or in a while, and that's my station, because I'm kind of putting myself in a situation to absorb, understand, learn, enjoy what that station has to offer. Because for the longest time, I'd go back to my top three.
Ben, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been with this company for 16 years. There's still channels I've never listened to before.
There you go.
It's not because I don't want to listen to them. It's just there's so much content available, and it's you migrate, you pivot to what you know and what you love. But there's just so much content available, and that's the beauty of it, is we've got something for everybody.
Absolutely. Okay, on that note, let's go ahead and bring on the content king himself. We've had him on before. We're lucky to have him back today. I feel like his title's kind of expanded, so I'm going to go and read it properly because I don't want to mess this up. He is the director of podcasts, listenership analytics, and music for SiriusXM. Let's get to the studio, Mr. Jeff Leake from Sirius. What's going on, Jeff? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, fellas. Good to see you, Mom, Ricky.
Did I please tell me I got your title right, sir?
Yeah, it took on a few new names for, it's like painful reasons probably too, because it's a lot of stuff to take care of. But as Ricky was mentioning, and both you and Ben were mentioning about evolution, we have a lot of new things to offer, and with that, we have to make sure that we're providing the right content where we can, and use the technologies that we have at hand to make sure it's the best listening experience ever.
Amazing. And today, obviously, a large focus of our conversation will be about that listening experience. On that note, I mean, this is a big question because I know we're going to dive in, but there's so much going on when it comes to the amazing content, like Ricky had made mention to. What's fresh right now that's in your mind? You're like, wow, mind blowing.
I've been saying this a lot this year. This summer has been like a runaway train, because we went from doing nothing for really a year and a half, maybe a little bit more, because things opened up in Toronto in the fall, to now we're wide open, and we have every one of our teams basically deployed throughout North America at every festival that's out there, and at every sporting event. We're at games, we're at IndyCar racing, we are at the golf championships, and we're also at every single concert that is happening right now. And we're engaging with the fans, and we're bringing a lot of this content live to air on Sirius XM. So it's a lot of work for our teams. But what's something that I'm really into right now? I'm with Ricky. I really do like using the Pandora experience. It's a lot of fun when you can have pals over and just say, "Hey, I've kind of made this really cool channel that will work for this setting." I know that Ricky's a big Pearl Jam fan, so I'm sure he's made about 19 Pearl Jam channels, which all sound exactly the same. But yeah, it's it's just something good to play with. And that's one thing that I always challenge people too with Sirius XM. It's like, and I like what you said, Ben, where you go in and you purposely try a channel that you haven't heard in a while. It's great to do that because we have so much discovery that's happening on Sirius XM. We go well beyond what your terrestrial has the capability to do. And we're also very much in a lane with our channel. So when you end up at Alt Nation, it's going to sound like Alt Nation. And if you go over to Margaritaville, it's going to always sound like Margaritaville. It's not like all of a sudden a pop station, wherever you are, and that just all of a sudden plays Jimmy Buffett. We've got sounds that are, so unique that would only fall in a Jimmy Buffett world. And we're programming to all those parrot heads that are out there tailgating for hours before a Buffett show. How they do it, I don't know. But
I don't know. But I mean, just getting the team that's behind that, the research, the cataloging. I mean, there's such tremendous, just sheer craziness, the amount of, logistics involved in just getting that programming out, I'm sure.
The volume of content that comes to us that, we filter through is really incredible. And that's our job, is to make it a great listening experience without making a subscriber do the searching. We'll do all the lifting for you. We'll create a channel, and we're going to create a channel that's going to evolve. You might say, "Oh, how does the Bruce Springsteen channel evolve, or the Garth Brooks channel evolve?" Well, he's always got another live show. We're always at that event, and we're talking to the listener. We're talking to the fans, and they're saying, "Yeah, this was the best one ever, and here's why." I think we probably have more fan engagement on our channels than people even seem to recognize, which is very cool. Even Tom Petty's channel. Tom Petty sadly hasn't been with us for years. That channel continues to evolve. The Tragically Hip Radio continues to evolve as we keep on uncovering recordings that have never been released, never been heard. We, finding these vaults of tapes and going in, mastering, engineering, and getting it as an exclusive.
Like you guys are doing all that? Sirius XM is doing that part?
We work with the labels, we work with the bands, we work with the publishers who owns the rights. And it's part of the deal for everyone to benefit, all along the line. There's legacy that, the Tragically Hip want to have, Elvis wants to have, right? And you just can't keep regurgitating the same stuff. It's got to be fresh. It's got to have a new angle. I've got something new coming for the Tragically Hip Radio this fall. It's going to blow people's minds. Don't tell anybody.
Too late. Literally just too late 5 seconds ago.
3 dudes chatting. Thought we were all pals.
Yeah.
We are pals.
Jeff, we're about to go through a presentation. It's kind of like a 2-part presentation we're going to go through today. The first part, we're talking about the why, the content. That's what's really driving, right, the customers to enjoy and subscribe to Sirius XM. Can you give us a little preview of what we're going to cover today in that segment?
Yeah, we'll go over some of our new music channels. We've kind of touched upon some things that we've, loosely joking around, but we'll discuss, some music channels that we've brought in. We'll discuss maybe some of the why we have channels that are here today, and they might not be there tomorrow. We can get into, if you want, we can talk about sports. We can talk about podcasts. I'm all over. Anything you guys need.
Okay, so let's get Ricky to load up the presentation. Ricky, all we need you to do is get in the back there and double click so we can get that ready to go. And
Hey,
there we
quickly, can
are.
I mention? Can I
Yeah,
mention that, I think we did this together 2 years ago,
it's been a
and
while. Yeah.
right off the bat, people were sassing Ricky on the chat. So feel free to do that because it was a great read.
Hopefully,
Our
Paul
audience,
Tru-
yeah,
if Paul Trum is watching, I'm sure there's going to be comments coming through.
Yeah.
there's a good chance that Paul's
Yeah.
going to tune in
Even
from an
fake
airport
Paul
somewhere.
Trumans. You can represent. That's fine by me.
All right. All right, guys, here we go.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. So we'll jump right into it. We talked about everything that we're going to cover off today. But really starting off with Jeff, and this really is his show right now, is, talking about Sirius XM and everything that we've got to offer. So Jeff, the mic literally is yours.
Yeah. You got a photo there of Lady Gaga. That shot, it looks to me like it was taken from the Apollo show that we did for Sirius XM subscribers, a unique once in a lifetime event that we did with Gaga. We've done it with U2. I'm
Isn't
trying to
there
think.
isn't
Guns
there
N'
another
Roses.
isn't there another cool band that's coming up at the Apollo in September?
There was supposed to be a real cool one. Did we announce that band yet?
I don't know.
Maybe we shouldn't. I know that there was one that unfortunately we had to cancel, and it was with a band by the name of Pearl Jam, because of the pandemic that was ripping through and destroying lives for a lot of us. But we get these bands into a 1,800 capacity theater. Sure, it's a beautiful theater, one of the most historic, well-known theaters in the world, the Apollo. We took Guns N' Roses there like 5 years ago. And just to see that, get that experience, and then hear it on the air, it's unbelievable to have that kind of content into programming. But, more to the why is we can do things that a lot of other companies cannot do. And we've been doing it for a long time. And evolution is something that we never stop with. I mean, you talk about you've been here 16 years, Ricky.
Yeah.
We had 80 channels when we first started. 80. And now with
That's
the Pandora
a nice segue to this one here.
There you go. Yeah, it's crazy. So every game, every genre, content that is going to go so deep into a genre. It's, I talk about discovery. If you listen to Willie's Roadhouse, you'd be hard pressed to know 6 songs in a row. And it's not because they're bad songs. They are just so magical to hear these tracks that don't get played traditionally in your terrestrial markets. But we can go down that lane. And I think I mentioned this before. Willie's Roadhouse that channel used to just be called the Roadhouse, and Willie would call in all the time. He would be driving along in his biodiesel bus doing tour dates throughout the U.S. and he'd be listening. He's like, "You got to play this song. You got to play this song more." And eventually, someone wisened up and said, "Willie, why don't you come in? Let's revamp the playlist." And it's been a few years now, but it's still going. Same thing goes with, like, say, the NHL network. We're not just a music thing. We have all the major leagues, the NHL network. The guys told me that, and by the guys, I mean the guys who work in our NHL network channel, that all the players have it in the locker room. And there's been plenty of times where we've had a manager or a GM hear something that was said on Sirius XM, and they pick up the phone. We've got all their contacts. They've got ours.
Good or bad, right?
Well, yeah, I think it was largely Brian Burke who would hear something and just have steam coming out of his ears, and he would call in and he would just like want to refute anything that was said. But, to have the biggest stars in sports always contributing on your channels, like, it seems like Wayne Gretzky is at arm's length away for the team at the NHL network, which is, to me, it's just bizarre
Yeah.
That guy, he's just one of the biggest legends to play, and yet he still wants to participate and he's listening. So I have artists that reach out all the time saying that they heard their song or they listen to this channel and this is their favorite channel. We were with a group yesterday who were just speaking volumes of the listening experience, because now, not like a lot of us, their job is to really, really be on the road, city to city, night after night. And when they can just flip on one of the channels and have something that is going to be with them their entire commute, 4 hours to Tulsa, wherever they're driving from, it's pretty powerful stuff, right? And then there's also that option. I don't know if you've ever worked at a pizza place before, Ricky. Sometimes when you work at a pizza place, the last thing you want to eat in the world is pizza. Bands are like that too, It's sometimes they just don't want to hear the music. They want to hear something else. Give me a comedy break. Give me a talk. Give me something else that's out there that can, help work on.
Not Pearl Jam radio.
It can't be Pearl Jam radio all the time. By the way, for those that are tuning in, Ricky is the biggest Pearl Jam fan. He's also on the watch list by security at Pearl Jam shows.
They'll be looking out for me for the 2 shows that I'm going to go see in September.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy those shows.
I will. I will. Awesome, Jeff. Thank you. Let's keep moving along here. So we talked a little about this with the NHL Network, but why don't you, touch on, what happens kind of behind the scenes and the efforts that go into what happens in studio, whether it's here, whether it's in the US.
Yeah, I'll tell you, over the last few years, it's become very apparent that we can get a lot more content at great ease when you have great connectivity. That said, there is still a connection piece that we lost, and that was being in the same room together. And I'll tell you, when LL Cool J gets in the studio with Sway, it's like the most magical conversation you're going to hear compared to when doing a Zoom call. We all know what it's like. Do you want to have a beer with your pals over Zoom, or do you want to go sit at the pub and have a beer with your pals? You go out for coffee with friends or sit at home and drink coffee with friends on Zoom. Same thing applies with Sirius XM. And we are around these artists every day. They are always contributing. And when you see the lists of guests that are coming in, it's like mind-boggling that we just have this access all the time. And that's because our channels, again, are in such a lane. They can be so specific to the listener that we can offer a lot of variety in a lot of different spaces. We had I don't know if you like the alternative band Incubus. They were in the other day, and they were doing some stuff on a variety of channels, playing some of their favorite pop rock hits. And then they went over to Lithium, and they played some of their favorite alt hits. We've got Tom Morello, who comes into the studios and he does a whole, I just want to do, 90s, 80s metal. So we put him on, Octane. And then we have a whole other show with Tom Morello, and he's on with Alt Nation and stuff. And these are guys like Tom Morello's playing stadiums around the world, over for the next year. He'll be doing that. And he's still taking time to put in some programming, and he's connecting with our programmers weekly to ensure that we get the content in. But it's when he's in the studio, that's when it explodes. It goes to even that next level. When Howard Stern has a guest in that is an artist, my God, it's one of my favorite things to listen to. It's always the best programming. And if you miss it, you still get it online because of all the on-demand offerings that are available. And you can download it to your devices so you can ensure that you never miss a beat. So I challenge you to do that. Go do a search for your favorite artists, and there's going to be a lot of things that pop up in many different spaces for you to check out unique stuff.
Love it. I love it.
But our studio, just quickly, we got a new studio in LA where that's made things a lot easier for us, because there's a lot of bands that tour through LA. New York is, sometimes really difficult to configure when you've got a touring band, and it's not easy in the streets of New York. We have that now, that extra little bit of flexibility with a brand new studio, giant, garage space, call it, where it's so easy for bands to come in, and, it's state-of-the-art technology. And we're building another new one in Nashville that's coming up real soon. And it's not like the stuff that we had isn't great. We just know we can always make it that much better.
Amazing. Why don't we talk a little bit about some of the recent programming that we've added, whether it's, permanent or channel takeovers. And then we could talk a little bit about some of the highlights from the year.
Yeah. We try to, there's an ebb and flow with sounds, and then there's a time to celebrate, and there's a time to remember. I mean, Joni Mitchell passing, Rush passing, we got to celebrate the sounds, right? So that gives us an opportunity to launch sometimes temporary channels, not always available everywhere. There's a lot of rules and regs that apply with a lot of our artist branded channels. There's publishers, there's the label themselves, there's the owners of the catalog, then there's just even owners of the brand that come into play. So there's a lot of different rules and regulations, and we have a giant team that is responsible for just seeing, okay, is this a possibility? Can we do something with Miles Davis? How cool would it be to do the Chicks? And we're ready to go almost at the drop of a hat to get some of this unique programming up. We know that yacht rock does way better in the summer than it does in the winter, because not a lot of yachting is happening in northern Canada,
unless you live in Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just a sound that people, just even if you're sitting on your patio, it doesn't matter if you're in Muskoka or if you're in northern British Columbia, it's a sound that is really a summer sound. So we play around with it a little bit more in the summer, and we kind of have an ebb and flow of some of these channels coming in and out. The Tragically Hip channel is an online channel where 4 times a year it takes over one of our satellite channels for various reasons. But what we'll do is we'll celebrate some releases, like they've got stuff that's 30th anniversary coming up, or a album or a recording from a club that has never ever been released. So we'll do some unique celebrations around that, and we'll bring it to satellite. So those are quick little reasons why we can do some takeovers here and there.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's wrap up with it's been a busy year. We talked about this. You talked about all the events that we've been attending, and we've got the partnership with Live Nation, and so everything that we've been doing. But talk to us a little bit about some of the key highlights from 2022 so far.
Yeah, it's crazy because you've got it's really so far is the real thing to point out. That is maybe 5% of what we could include in highlights. You could probably fill that page with just what we did last week. We were at Oceaga. Dua Lipa is performing Future, Arcade Fire. We got the first interview with Arcade Fire as they're kicking off their world tour, and the band was so energized to be with us and have this conversation. Like, we've been with this band really for 17, 18 years. And so we're all friends now, it's recognized faces. So when we sit down together, it's not that question about, do you wear boxers or briefs? It's where did you take the full stage rehearsal before you go on tour? And they said, yeah, it's this really garbage looking warehouse, and we've got the full stage, all the lights, all the smoke, all the lasers. And we've been doing that for like 6 weeks, practicing before they get out on the road for probably the next year and a half, playing places that I can't even point out on a map because they're just so global. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Chili Peppers was a big launch for us. Back to sports, back to live. I mean, there's the lockdowns and the regulations they're different everywhere where you're at. Like it was different in Nashville than it was in California. Florida was a different beast, and there was curfews in Montreal and in Toronto. Now we seem to kind of have a rhythm, and even when you talk to some of these athletes who are out there playing the sports and that, they wanted to connect with our hosts as well, because we've all missed each other at the end. I mean, I've told a lot of the same stories in the last 6 months or so since we've been really, really active, and it's been it's a great feeling to know that you impact the artists and they impact you, and together we work as a team to bring in the fan, and or if whether it's sports, whether it's music, comedy, it's all there together. It really is a team effort.
Yeah, yeah, and I think exactly what you said, and this this slide here really talks to the breadth of everything that we have to offer, because again, we're not just music. You look at the sports partnerships, the agreements that we've extended with the PGA and NFL, and then you talked a little bit about baseball, but then you also mentioned previously in the show about Joni Mitchell, and Chili Peppers. Like we're all over the place, but being able to not just deliver this over the air, but also be a part of it at these events, truly is something special for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a lot of fun, and I would say that we're 8 months into this year. It's probably only going to get busier as we head into the fall. There's never been a time, I don't think, in history where as many bands have been out on the road touring, and they're all active and excited to get back out and be with everybody. And we want to make sure that we bring that that whole experience to air for an audience who couldn't be there. Not everybody gets to go to the concert, and you could be, say you're a big Pearl Jam fan. Maybe you just want to hear, that show that was recorded in 1993 in Poland. I'm sure you've heard it 19 times, Ricky.
I have the bootleg.
And the bootleg also airs on Sirius XM's Pearl Jam Radio.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Hopefully that team's listening in right now.
Yeah, they're the Pearl Jam people. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. I'm sure Ed's tuning in for this one. He's taking notes. It's all good. But yeah, awesome. I think the next little bit's going to be even busier. But it's funny because NHL, I don't think they've had a summer quite like they have now. They almost worked 18 months consecutively, because there was a shortened season and then a full season, and they kind of almost completely overlap. But this summer, those guys, they never even get a break, with free agency and the trade deadlines and everything that happens over there. That channel is still a good listen, even though there's no hockey going on and there won't be a regular season for still like 6-7 weeks. So it never goes away, the great quality content on these channels.
You're absolutely right, Jeff. Well, I can only say thank you very, very kindly for taking the time to join us. And again, I probably could have spoken to, some of this stuff, but really it comes down to having, the best of the best, and having, hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So I really appreciate you coming on with us and being a part of this session, Jeff, and looking forward to one of our sessions coming up at some point to have you back on and give us what's the latest and greatest on programming.
I'll just leave you with this real quick. I mentioned about we were with Arcade Fire this past weekend. We were with Buzz Brainerd and the Highway, and we had probably one of the last interviews with Florida Georgia Line as they're taking a break, but it could be a long-term break. But this weekend, we're going to be in Montreal for the Lasso Festival. And the last time I ran into Dierks Bentley, who is headlining at Lasso, he's doing this big album release and such. And he's supposed to be talking about his album and all that stuff. So he would go do it. And yeah, here's this song. As soon as he was done talking about the intro for the song and the song would play, he would come run over to me, and we talked about aviation because he listens to Sirius XM in his plane. And it went from, oh yeah, that's really cool, to aviation disasters. And it was like a really weird conversation. But it's
Well,
because
you should tell him that our satellites also deliver real-time weather.
Oh, he knows that. He knows
Yeah.
that. He was showing me pictures. I was like, oh, okay. I was gonna believe you. We don't have to go through your phone, but all good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Have yourself.
Jeff, I got one
yeah.
question for you. After hearing all your stories and hearing all these exciting things going on, especially with going 0 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour from experiential type stuff, in-person type stuff, where is there to go? I'm going to ask this question while I got you. Like, I mean, you guys cover it all. You're doing the in studio, you're doing the live stuff, you're doing sports. We've got, Pandora. There's just so much. I'd like to hear, obviously you're privy to information, we're not, but can you give us an idea? You've mentioned the word evolution 3-4 times. So leave us with a nugget, with something.
Well, I just think that there's going to be more opportunity for the devices to recognize your habits and provide more listening experiences for you. We already have in many players recommended listening, which is a way for a Howard Stern listener to hear Lady Gaga on Hits One, and also for someone listening on Hits One to hear that full interview with Howard Stern. So we're in that realm, but video is where we're really exploding right now because we've got these beautiful studios and we're getting these exclusive performances.
Oh,
So
my favorite. Honestly, I've always said it. That is my favorite part of being a subscriber, is access to all those videos.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
one of my favorite things.
it's incredible. And we have so much stuff. I barely even get a chance to look at it myself and really take advantage of it. But yeah, there's really something for everyone. And if there's nothing there for you, well, that's an interesting conversation we should be having with someone.
Yeah, that's a tough one though. I don't see it really happening, but unless you're not into music or sports or news or you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I had someone say, I don't like music to me. And I said, you're a jerk. There's no way you don't
I don't like you.
music.
You're not a cool human being.
You don't like music?
Who says that?
Happy Birthday's an awesome song.
Yeah, right.
Anyhow,
Jeff, you're a blast.
off to a show.
Again, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Ricky, we know that was part one. It was super fun with Jeff, but there's a business end to things, so we're going to definitely give you the opportunity to get into the how. So take it away.
Amazing. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Ben. Really, so coming off of the why now is really covering and diving into the how, and why how easy it is to get Sirius XM into your life, not just into your vehicle, but into your life. And the area that we want to focus on today really is with what we're covering off now through CMA, which is our source units and all the partners that we work with and partner with to deliver Sirius XM not only into your vehicle but outside, but really seamlessly integrate into all these great source units that are available. And I only have a handful of logos here at the bottom of some of the big partners that we work with in JVC, Kenwood, Pioneer, Alpine, Sony, but that continues to expand. We're partnering now with Nakamichi. We're partnering with Boss. The source units, the source unit partners that we are privileged to work with really make it not only incredible for us to get that content to the customer, but be able to have it seamless through connecting the SXV300. And I really think that that's key. This is the one where it should be a reflex. Every Sirius XM ready head unit that is being sold and installed in your shop should come with an SXV300. And we've never made it easier for them to enjoy it, to get their 3 months free trial, or to get their year for $99, to be able to get their tuner for free after their $80 rebate. This should just be a reflex with every single customer that comes into your door. And the benefits of adding that tuner to that source unit You know, being able to control everything from that one device, as opposed to using your phone or anything else, to be able to pause, rewind, replay, the tune mix function. You know, these are great features that you see here, but the buck doesn't stop here. We've got features that are coming, and I know that this has been presented by one of our other partners in Alpine, is that 360L technology, which is fairly new to the market. We have it available on one of our aftermarket radios, which is the Tour, but the 360L technology also is in some of our newer vehicles. Some of our OEM partners have this today, and really, to kind of dumb it down a little bit, is the 360L technology is taking the best of both worlds. You got your satellite content, you got your streaming content, everything that's available in our spectrum, we bring it in one device. So now you can easily and seamlessly access all the content, all from your source unit, which makes it that much easier to get the best listening experience possible. And that means what you were listening to on the streaming side will now carry into your vehicle. So really important that we touch on this one, because this is really the bread and butter of this industry. This is, you know, we don't trade, and Paul Truman has mentioned this many times, but we don't trade dollars with any other category. We are the category of satellite radio and beyond. And this just should be a natural reflex to every single opportunity and sale that you have with a customer. Is this should be presented to everyone coming in to add a new head unit to their vehicle. And we talked a little bit about the streaming too, being able to take that experience outside of the vehicle to enjoy it at home or on the go using your app. The content, again, doesn't stop with just the satellite channels that people traditionally have grown accustomed to. We've got the extra channels, which are variations of our most popular channels, like 80s. Now we've got an 80s workout channel. The Pandora Stations, man, I cannot speak more highly about this feature. This will allow you to search for an artist, and if you see a Pandora station that's available and you click on that, now you've created a custom channel of that artist for you, which you can customize using the thumb up and thumb down features, so that you're constantly customizing that channel and listening experience for you. Really, I don't even touch those thumb up, and I have to really hate a song to thumb it down. But I typically just, you know, find one of the artist stations that I've created, and I just let that thing run, and the playlists are amazing. The video we talked about, being able to see some of these live interviews, these live performances, being able to see Howard Stern and his interviews, to see that on video, whether you're on your phone, whether you're on your computer, or whether you're using a smart TV, to be able to get that experience visually takes your not just your subscription, but your experience to the next level. And then the podcast, which was a great addition when we acquired the company. Stitcher allowed us to really break into this podcast market and deliver not only podcasts that are available through other platforms, but ones that are exclusive to Sirius XM. And taking that experience home, again, I have 2 Google Minis in my home, which I use to be able to, you know, use the voice assist function so that I can listen to my content without having to touch any devices. But smart TVs, computers, laptops, Roku, Sonos, and so much more. We continuously integrate with more and more partners so that you can take that listening experience into your home and outside of your home, so that you're not just tied into and associating Sirius XM with in-vehicle. We are not Sirius XM satellite radio anymore. We are Sirius XM, the leader in North America in content, and you can get it everywhere you know, you can think of, whether it's inside or outside your vehicle. And really, to round out, I want to talk a little bit about the promotions and then some of the training that's available. Really highlight the training too, because I think that's the most important piece in the untapped area. I truly believe in this whole equation to Sirius XM and what we can offer the dealers. But with every radio that we produce, it comes automatically with our You Choose You Save service offer, which is your choice of your first 3 months free or 12 months for $99 or $825 per month. And that is of our highest tier package, which is Platinum, which gives you that access to over 160 vehicles in your car. Once you add in the streaming portion on our app, you get access to over 350 channels. And that does not include all the channels that you can create through using the Pandora Stations function. Ad-free music, all the talk, sports, and entertainment, everything that we talked about with Jeff in the beginning of the show. But all this is available. This is our highest tier. And again, the customer has a choice of choosing the first 3 months free or 12 months for $825 a month. And how easy is it to activate? They can certainly call the call center, but I highly recommend and make sure that everybody in the audience, all the dealers, the sales reps, the installers, everybody's aware of how easy it is to just activate it online. If you go to SiriusXM.ca/YouChooseYouSave, all you have to do is hit that Activate Now button, and that will take you to this page where you enter that 8-digit alphanumeric ID or 12 digits now with the tour radio. But once you enter that ID, you will automatically be presented with this offer of choosing either the annual term or the quarterly term, and then putting in your information, your payment info, and then you're up and running. It sends an activation signal to your radio immediately, and you're enjoying Sirius XM. So it's really important that you understand the ease of activating online, because it will save that customer a lot of time by not having to call into the call center and go through the queues. It certainly is available if you need some additional help, but activating online is certainly the easiest. And then on that note too, being able to submit for your rebate online. This is one that I think we have tremendous room for growth here in this market, not only in Canada, but in the US. But we are privy to seeing how many radios are going from our distributors to our retailers, how many of these are activating, and we also see how many rebates are being submitted. And that delta is pretty big. And it just means that, those that are just wanting to add the tuner, they're going to add it regardless of the rebate or not. But what are the lost opportunities? What are the sales lost by not showing the customer that they can get their tuner for free after rebate plus the service offer that is available to them? Being able to present that at time of sale is so important, because without that piece, without that missing, without that step, there's going to be a lot of lost sales. That head unit's going to get installed regardless, but being able to add on the additional revenue of $80 plus install is really important, especially at this time, with how things are in our market and how sales are. You have to, every little bit counts. So, again, this should be a reflex for every single customer that's coming in for that head unit. And again, being able to just do this online with the rebate is so much easier than being able to fill out a form. We are going to be making some changes to the submission process, but it's going to just make it that much easier for customers to get the rebate that much faster. And for a customer to get their $80 back as quickly as we can deliver it to them really closes that sales loop, and the customer was presented with the offer and we delivered it to them. Very important here. And the POS materials that we created and the ones that we are looking to create for next year are so important, because these are not after the fact materials. These are POS materials that are made to position Sirius XM and what we have to offer at time of sale, not after the fact. After the fact is where you go to activate and where you go to submit for your rebate. So it's so important that you have access to these materials and have them on display for your customers so they know exactly where to go, especially this next one here on the left, where it shows you where to activate your radio and where to go to submit for that $80 rebate. And you show your customer this while they're still in the shop with you, it's going to make that customer experience that much better. for them and for you. But then the customer knows exactly where to go to get their radio activated, but also to submit for their rebate. And lastly here, I wanted to cover off the last page of this ring booklet. This one is the most important part. And again, one that I believe is underutilized. And really, I'm looking to the audience here, and looking to the distributors, looking to the dealers, the sales reps, the installer, anybody that's in this industry that is looking to gain some more knowledge on Sirius XM. This is where you need to go, because we have this great tool that is available that also comes with its perks. So if you go to SiriusXM.com/SXM University, this will take you to, or on the last page of that ring booklet, you scan the QR code, it takes you to our e-learning site where you have access to not only some great training modules, but the opportunity to get some resources as well. And it is so easy to do. It takes less than 5 minutes to register your account. And then it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete your training for the first module that we have uploaded there. And we will continue to add more modules down the road. But when you go to this website, the first thing you're going to see here is a section where you're either going to log in or you're going to register. And just for a little bit of affirmation, just so we know that we're not just putting programs together and saying you can win this and nobody wins. Every single month we go through this process with both Canadian dealers and US dealers, where we go through everybody that's completed the training, right? So if you completed it in May and you didn't win something in May, it doesn't mean that you're done. We bank all of these users and e-learning completion so that we can review and gives you the opportunity to win monthly prizes or quarterly prizes. And that means that you've got a great opportunity to win a $50 Amazon card just by completing the e-learning. That's not the only benefit, of course. You want to know what's the latest and greatest with SiriusXM, but this is a great tool, and I really encourage everybody listening in to go to this and create your profile and complete your e-learning, because it's only going to benefit you, especially in the sales process when you're speaking to your customers. And just as a reminder, when you sign up, once you enter your information, you have to wait for your email. You're going to receive an email that you need to click on for verification. Then you're ready to get started. So just look for that email in order to complete the process so that you can start your training. And again, once you're in, you'll see the various sections, but the two sections that you want to look at is My Courses, which will show you any modules that are available for training, and the Resources, which will allow you to pick up some valuable information, whether it be product spec sheets, whether it's ads, logos, the POS materials that we've created. Everything there is available for you as a resource so that you can provide additional training to your staff, but also use some of this creative if you want to create your own advertising to promote what SiriusXM has to offer when you add it to those SiriusXM Ready head units. This is just what it looks like in the My Courses section once you've completed your course. And again, once that is completed, and every month we run a report of everybody that's completed it from day one, we do our monthly draws, and we also do a quarterly draw for a $250 Amazon gift card. And again, I encourage everybody to put yourself in that position to be eligible for these monthly and quarterly draws. And just take a couple minutes to keep this one up here. Again, you know, we launched this back in May. It was launched a little bit earlier on the US side, but in Canada, we specifically launched this in May. And you'll see if you're following SiriusXM radios on Instagram, you'll see that these are posted there. These are winners from May and from June. And you'll see another post shortly if it hasn't been posted already for July. We are constantly pulling these winners so that we can send these gift cards out as soon as possible. Again, it's all about the affirmation and that gratification that an employee or a dealer gets from completing the training, but also being incentivized with something as great as this. So I really encourage everybody. And on that note too, for July, here are the winners for July. And again, we have our winners south of the border in the US, and then our winners in Canada, which you see here. So congrats to all the winners in July, and specifically for my Canadian friends. Congrats to Harm and to Sadie and to Len for receiving or for winning that $50 Amazon gift card, which will be in the mail shortly. And for everybody else who has not won, don't worry, because we continue to draw, and your name will still stay in there until you're possibly a winner. But also for those new winners, or for those that have not completed the training, I really encourage you to get on that, because again, it just not only the perks of potentially winning these cards, but also the knowledge that you're going to gain from everything the Sirius XM has to offer. And that basically wraps up our training, which I'll wait for Ben to come back on. And yeah, I hope those that tuned in and will tune in got everything that they needed out of this training session.
Ricky, this particular Connected is pretty complete, because the concept of the why and the how really kind of explains the full circle. And on that note, there's something I wrote down here. I speak not because I have a Sirius XM logo on my forehead, but for someone who sits through a lot of training seminars and understands and is aware of what's available out there for dealers. This is the most aggressive, incentivized training program that exists in the industry, bar none. Why do I say that? The way that you're rewarding people for their participation, the way that it's the frequency of reward. This is not like a one-time gig. There could be 3,000 people and you win one winner. No, this is consistent. This is frequent. This is giving shops the tools and the incentives to get their team up to speed so they can best maximize this opportunity in the partnership with Sirius XM. So I'm not saying that to blow steam up. I'm just letting this is factual. There is no other program that incentivizes dealers to have their staff up to speed from a training perspective as much as this SXM University program does have.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. And again, there is a benefit to Sirius XM with all this too, because the more tuners that get added, the more activations, and that we are, we're all about attaining subscribers and keeping them happy. But it starts with that customer stepping foot in the door and saying, I'm looking to replace my stereo with a new head unit. What do you have to offer? What do you suggest? And as soon as you get into those Sirius XM ready head units, the SXV 300 and the content that comes behind it should be a reflex.
It should be automatic, muscle memory.
And we're not saying this that you have to do it. We're saying here's everything that we are giving you to help you make it easier for you to present it to the customer and let them say no. If they really don't want it, then they're gonna tell you, right? But here's the one thing that I will I'll say here is, and if I said it before,
are you gonna quote Wayne Gretzky? Are you gonna quote Wayne Gretzky? Okay.
No quotes here. No quotes, and this is not a Ricky Lima quote, but
okay.
It's don't pre-qualify a customer. You may enjoy Sirius XM, you may not. You may use it, you may not. But based on what you use, don't just assume that a customer is going to just listen to everything that you listen to.
Yeah, don't make the decision for the customer. Give them your job is to give them the option and make them aware.
Just like everything else, harnesses and backup cameras and everything else, Sirius XM should be on that checklist, and it should be at the top there, because there's $80 in revenue plus install that you're leaving on the table by not presenting it to the customer. And the important part is ensuring that the customer knows what to do once that's done. Here's your $80 rebate so that you can get your $80 back. Here's where you go to activate and get your 3 months free or 12 months for $825. It's that easy.
Literally,
it's that easy. It's that easy.
We have taken the time today. We had Jeff on here giving you guys all the latest updates, how crazy the team at SiriusXM has been activating events, getting studio, all these type of offers. And all that is to drive home the value of being a subscriber for SiriusXM. Now, that's for the end user. And what Ricky has focused on now is all the tools and benefits and everything that's in place, the structure that's been in place for you to optimize that opportunity and make sure you turn that opportunity into profit for your shop. Final message to dealers today, Ricky?
If there's anything that you need, you know where to find me. Just ask if there's anything at all that you're looking for. And the one takeaway that I will, or the one ask that I do have outside of everything else, is send me your ideas, whether it's directly to me or to your distributors. We are in the planning phases right now to develop potentially the one piece. We know that we have sent multiple pieces of POS materials in the past. Sometimes it makes it on the floor, sometimes it doesn't. We're looking to create that one piece, that power piece that we know that when it's sent out to a dealer, it's going to make its way, to make it that much easier for you to sell and to add the tuners. If you have any ideas, please send them our way so that we can, filter everything and figure out, what's going to be the most impactful.
Awesome. For any information on the programs, especially the promo programs that Ricky was talking about, let's throw up the numbers here. Basically, you want to head over to SiriusXM.ca/2ways-to-save. That kind of gives you a real breakdown of what the customer can benefit from as far as when they're signed up to be a new SiriusXM subscriber. And again, reach out to Ricky directly if you have any, inquiries, especially about, SiriusXM University training programs, POS, all that type of stuff. I'm sure Ricky's ready to take your call. It was a good one today, Rick.
Thank you. Always great to be on. Always great to be on.
It's good stuff. And when you see Jeff, tell him that we have a show for him waiting on CMA Networks anytime. That man would make a great host. It's
absolutely.
Take care, Ricky.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. So there you have it, guys. CMA Connected today, all about SiriusXM, giving you the whys and the hows and reminding you why it's so important to keep SiriusXM always at the top of the list when it comes to any transaction with new customers, especially when they're looking at upgrading to an aftermarket source unit. All right. What do we have to tell you guys about? Well, obviously, keep it locked here at CMA Networks, because right through till August 11th, we are still on the topic of source units. Each and every day, we are presenting one brand at a time and going deep and telling you exactly what each brand has to offer in the source unit category. Now, big news, if you haven't already heard, you're going to hear me talk about this a lot. It is the CMA Networks and Master Tech Expo contest. We're calling the Ultimate Fab Experience. It's brought to you by your partners, 5-Axis Innovations, and you guessed it, SiriusXM. It's a chance for one lucky tech fab shop owner to win an inclusive trip, all inclusive. We're talking hotels, we're talking meals, we're talking the training courses and the flights to Mesa, Arizona for Master Tech Expo 2023. Sign up at cmanetworks.com/giveaway. It's a free contest, guys. Sign up, and we'll be drawing those winners on November 23rd, right here on CMA Roundtable. Of course, no cash value. cmanetworks.com/giveaways to enter. Of course, while you're there, check out our whole website, cmanetworks.com. This and many, many more videos to go through and learn. And check out my man, Ricky. He's got his own profile on there. And you can go back and talk about all those different training items and videos that we've done in the past. So you can enjoy them there as well. That's it for this CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about
Stop
today. Today we're gonna go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's last on radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?